Let resolution be your solution.
Good morning, my loyal listeners. What we're talking about today is social media. Social media, to me, it's an interesting topic because it's a direct threat to my job. I'm part of the mainstream media, so we're not exactly trusted in these days. So, what I will say is this social media, this is the internet, Facebook, Instagram, and all these other newfangled ways of miscommunicating with each other. The things that a lot of people use to sell product, a lot of people use to divide people's opinions and whip up a frenzy of disagreement. Sometimes these can result in people feeling bullied and marginalized and discriminated and segregated against. But most of it's all kitten videos and bunny rabbits and this kind of thing, and holiday snapshots and all this kind of thing. And one of the big industries that it supports is naturally fashion. But you may have a different opinion. I'm more than happy to listen to your views. And our first caller on this topic is Fred.
Oh, now, it's funny you should mention kitten videos. One of the things about social media I've noticed over certainly the last few years, is the preponderance of animal videos, like showing anything from animal cruelty to saving animals. Like, if it's fallen into a well and people go out of the way to save a dog or something like that. And, my little dog is close to my heart and I would like to see that happen.
So you're talking about the positive aspects of social media.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, my niece, she's gone to live in Australia, and I can talk to her via Zoom. It's almost like being in the same room. Zoom is like being in the same room. It's almost like a catchphrase. So that to me is a massive advantage. Yes, letters are brilliant and all that kind of thing, but there's direct face-to-face communication. It's a tremendous boon. And we used to think of the internet when I first became aware of it as a window on the world. And I found that an incredibly positive image. So perhaps, my attitude, I've gone into it with total positivity and looking for the best in the thing.
Well, I cannot dispute your view of looking for the best in something. That's something I would normally endorse. Our next caller, thank you for your call. Next caller is William.
Aye, well, it's interesting about social media. You see, a lot of people, what they do on social media, it's a little bit like road rage behind a computer.
Road rage behind a computer. That's an interesting thought process. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, you sometimes see people that are in their tin can vehicle with the windows up, the music blaring about. They're blasting the horn, they're running up behind people, flashing the lights. The filter is off, and they behave just as they wish to behave, just as a moment crosses their mind. Someone switches lanes, or worse than that, the ultimate sin is keeping to the speed limit when that person wants to go faster. There's no police around, so basically, what's wrong with breaking the speed limit? So they seem to act as though the speed limit's an intrusion on their freedom and liberty.
And so the equivalency with regards to the internet, you're not exactly making your point clear here.
Aye, well, I'll spell it out for you if you'll pardon the expression. When people see someone's post or a picture or something like that, the filter is immediately off because they've got their cloak of semi-anonymity and they just let rip, not fearing about the consequences that they might upset the other person or that they may do irreparable damage to the friendship or relationship. And not only that, once it's written and press send, it's there forever. Their actions is like a cascading wave of negativity if they wish to be that way. Whereas in the real world, they would never be so discourteous, I would hope, or the vast majority of them wouldn't.
Once again, an interesting perspective. And now we have George. George, what do you think?
Yes, well, it's all very well, all this social media. I don't really go in for it. I think it's all a waste of time. I think you should buy a newspaper, a reliable, trustworthy newspaper from the Times or something, the Thunderer, known for absolute honesty, integrity, and telling the truth. It supports the existing system. It's a prop. It keeps us going. It keeps society along the straight and narrow. It's a moral compass.
You think the newspapers are a moral compass? Did you think that with newspapers like some of the tabloids, the more trashy end of the newspapers?
Well, I don't think I've ever read one of those newspapers, but I'm sure we could blame them for something.
Well, if that's how you feel, George, I'm more than willing to entertain anything that you might consider. Our next caller on the subject of social media is Ivor.
Oh, it's very nice to have you let me talk on this subject. It's very dear to my heart, you see. I think that social media is the reason that opinions are so polarized about it, right? I believe that the you said so yourself in your introduction, it's a threat. It's a threat to the way things are. George has just outlined the big business that's available in traditional media. So there's a scrap going on, and they're using their immeasurable resources to try and curtail the freedom that the social media has given people. So naturally, the mainstream media, it's in their best interest, in your best interest, to talk about the negative stories. But what about the positive stories? The sort of revelations of the way that people have been mistreated that come out on the social media. The sort of scrutiny that walking about with a phone in your hand, which has got a camera in it, has brought to sort of negative conduct that people in high office have been involved in, So I think it's a revolution that's taking place.
You think it's a revolution that the old guard and the old methods are being challenged and perhaps even replaced?
Oh no, I wouldn't say replaced. You see, it's just another method of human communication. But the thing that it does offer is the possibility for unity across the entire world. That people who've got similar problems, who are facing similar challenges, can communicate on a human level. I remember watching a debate between Christopher Hitchens and Tony Blair about atheism or Christianity.
Oh, let's not get into the heavy subjects.
Oh, he wasn't going to talk about that. What I'm getting at is that lecture, if you like, that presentation. Somebody like myself, from a working class background, I found it incredibly revealing about the capabilities, the oratory skills of a human being. And I felt that it was a privilege to view it.
Did you actually go to the actual lecture? Is that what you mean?
Oh, absolutely not. There's no way I could have gone to that lecture. It was in a university. I've never been to university in my life. I've never had the opportunity to listen to a lecture like that, to understand the two opposing viewpoints in an infinite and precise detail, to make up my own mind. It was on YouTube. I watched several debates.
And did it help you make up your mind?
Absolutely. It helped me make up my mind, not to make up my mind. You see, education, it isn't about teaching you to think. It's teaching you what to think. But true education, the best of all, gives you the power to come to your own conclusion. And that's what that debate did. And that was the power of social media. So yes, it can be awful. It can be about people attacking each other and filming it. Yes, of course it can. But that human stuff goes on all the time. But what about the stuff that elevates, that gives us all a chance to learn something new? This should never be curtailed.
Well, once again, thank you. That's an interesting viewpoint. I hadn't quite thought about it from that viewpoint. Anyway, follow us on Facebook and on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Perhaps I might be a slow convert to certain aspects of social media. Resolution Radio 2020. If you like this channel, like and subscribe our page. Share it with your friends. If you understand the underlying message here, which is about entertainment and fun,
keep smiling,
then continue to stay with us. I look forward to interacting with you in the future.